This is your Fox 5 News.
We begin with breaking news out of Solana Beach, where this military helicopter was forced to make an emergency landing on the shore.
This happened a little more than an hour ago, just before noon, and it appears that some sort of mechanical issue, possibly an oil leak, forced the pilots to put that chopper down near the cliffs. Fox 5's Jason Sloss is live in Solana Beach and joins us now, starting us off with what we know at this point. Jason.
Well, good afternoon. Right over here. Again, we're about just a little north of Dog Beach, and here is the military helicopter that is now on the sand. Crews, lifeguards, fire personnel, sheriffs around in the area working at the scene right now. We are told that there's no emergency situation at the moment, but I want to bring in Battalion Chief John Blumeyer, who is just joining us with the latest on this. What can you tell us?
Basically, the aircraft, the military here can give a better indication of what happened to the aircraft. Made an emergency landing on the beach. There were no injuries. The crew's fine. No injuries on the beach. At the moment, we're working to mitigate, the military is working to mitigate the problem on the aircraft and hopefully fly it out. And then we will handle, there's a small spill of some fluids from the aircraft, and that's what we're working to mitigate that, make sure the beach is safe for everybody once they leave. Okay,
we see crews around here kind of digging trenches. What's going on with that?
Most of that is precautionary. There was a small amount of fluid leak. We don't want it to get into the ocean. We're going to wind up cleaning up the fluid that leaked onto the beach, and so we're just working to contain that at this time.
Okay. Are you worried at all about the tide coming in? Right now it's fairly low. Is it a race against time? Is that a concern?
We're aware of the tide schedule, and there is a concern that the tide could come in before we get everything mitigated. But we have plans A, B, and C in place, so in the event that we can't fly it out, we have other contingency plans in the works.
Okay, and we also want to talk with, if you would introduce yourself.
Staff Sergeant Bobby Curtis from One Public Affairs.
And what's the extent of what you could tell us what happened?
Right now, all we know is a aircraft from the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing, which is the air combat element of 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, had to make an emergency landing, and the incident is under investigation.
What kind of aircraft is this?
This is a CH-53.
And can you talk about it, the mission, or what if they were leaving the area, coming back?
I don't know anything about it at this time. We're still investigating.
Okay. Any idea how far out they were off the coast? When there were problems?
I do not. I have no idea at this time. We're investigating, and we'll get all the information together for you guys.
What is your biggest concern right now? What is it that you're trying to find out?
Right now, we're just, the incident just occurred. We're just trying to get everything under investigation, find out what's going on.
Okay, so right now, unclear as to exactly what happened.
That's correct.
What caused this emergency landing. Okay, so we're going to continue to be updated and get more information. We're talking with witnesses who saw, I can actually grab this lady right here. Her name is Donna, and you saw what happened as it was out there coming down.
I completely saw what happened. I was getting ready to leave, and they're always flying over every day, back and forth, and all of a sudden I look, and here he's coming down, and it's churning, and the water's moving, and, it was amazing. It was just kind of scary. I didn't know if he was crashing or if he was just trying to land, and I'm thinking, why is he going to land over here, So anyhow, and then within minutes everybody started coming around.
And it sounds like there weren't all that many people on the beach, which is a good thing.
No, there wasn't that many people at all. And a lot of people who live here, they didn't hear it. They were just coming to do their walk. But it was so loud. I mean, it was amazing. And the water was coming up like Niagara Falls. It really was. It was something. Thank God everybody's okay. That's the main thing,
Donna, thank you for joining us.
You're
Appreciate talking to us about that. Again, we're about to get another briefing from authorities on what's happened here, and we'll stay on this throughout the afternoon. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Jason, I want to ask you real quick before we let you go. Is there any indication how many were on board that chopper and what they did once they got off, as far as dealing with any problems that they had with the helicopter?
Well, one witness told me they saw 3 people get off.
Okay, Jason Sloss starting us off there from Solana Beach. Jason, thank you.
We do want to share now some photos that our viewers are sending in and continuing to send in. We really appreciate these. A lot of folks along the beach here when this happened. Just some facts about the CH-53E Super Stallion helicopter. It is a heavy lift helicopter, can carry light armored vehicles. It can lift about 17 tons of cargo, usually has about 40 service members on board. This is a powerful helicopter. It can actually lift every aircraft in the military except for the KC-130, and this is the largest military helicopter in the United States. So certainly a workhorse for the Marine Corps.
And you can imagine what that sight was like for folks there on the beach. As that one lady told us just a moment ago, it was something you see a lot with these helicopters flying overhead in that area in the North County. But here comes this gigantic helicopter coming down and landing right there on the beach. We want to get now to our colleague Paul Bloom, who is also there in Solana Beach. I believe, Paul, you are on the cliffs overlooking this scene. Paul is an experienced pilot and kind of can give us some insight as to what kind of things you deal with when you are flying an airplane, in your case, Paul, or flying a helicopter in this particular case. What you do and what you look for, Paul, when you find errors or problems with your aircraft.
Well, this could be something as simple as what they call a chip light. Helicopters have all kinds of sensors inside their engines, and this, because it's a CH-53, has very, very big engines for that kind of lift capability. It could be that the came on telling them that there was a chip of metal somewhere in the engine. That's entirely possible. They said they thought they might have had an oil leak. I've seen them wiping down parts of the helicopter. The crew members have been wiping down parts of the helicopter as if there was some kind of leak. What they're doing right now is they have dug a little channel in the beach. The tide has gone out, but it's going to be coming back in within a couple of hours. The question is, can they, in fact, keep the water from hitting this helicopter? These helicopters are not unused to beaches. They make landings, assault landings, with Marines on board at times like this, and they might actually have to land on a beach. In this case, they had a problem, and they felt that it was the best thing to do was simply put the helicopter down on the beach. And because the beach wasn't crowded like it would be on a weekend, they had plenty of room to do it. This is the way it's supposed to happen. Nobody got hurt. The helicopter is safely down on the beach. It did not crash. And what they're going to do is now look over the whole situation. I'm up here in the cliff looking down, and it looks to me like they have plenty of room to take off. The wind is coming in from the northwest right now, and what they would do is, if they can get the engines restarted, then what they're going to do is just lift up a little bit off the sand, aim themselves out toward the water, and then gain power and pick it up and then take it off. I tell you this from experience flying along with good pilots in the TV news helicopters. This, of course, is much bigger, but it's the same system. It's got 6 blades, and it's going to lift itself off the stand very easily if they can get the motor started.
Yeah, that is a pretty incredible sight that we're looking at here from Solana Beach. You certainly don't expect to see this kind of thing right there in the middle of the beach. Paul, I want to ask you, if there was a low oil pressure indicator on this chopper, obviously it's a major aircraft here, how imminent is a problem? If you do see a sensor or something like that, how imminent could a problem be making that decision to quickly put it down where they had to put it down?
Well, helicopters like this have to have oil. They have to have that lubrication. They have to have that cooling capacity. And if you do have an indication that the oil has gone low, if that's what happened, we don't know yet. But if the oil had gone low, that means 2 things. Number one, there's some kind of a leak somewhere. And by watching them go over this chopper, on the tail especially, they're wiping down the tail with cloths and paper towels and looking for signs of that leakage. Second of all, once the oil starts going out, you only have a few minutes, perhaps, if that, to get your aircraft on the ground, because without the oil, it's going to freeze up, and you lose control. You'll have a much bigger problem. If you lose control of the helicopter, they were able to put it down here so well because they had control still. And so that's they took the reasonable and prudent way out. I'm seeing all 3 members of the crew climbing over the tail right now and still looking around for leaks and wiping down what may have leaked out there.
Paul, is there any danger when you have a lot of folks out there? It seemed like there weren't many right in that immediate vicinity when they put the chopper down. But as far as people quickly coming up to see what's going on, is there any danger there with a lot of people congregating around, like we say, a pretty major aircraft here and the potential for an oil leak?
Well, it's well controlled. The county hazmat officials are here. They came onto the scene just before I came over here a minute ago. And county hazmat will supervise this. As the fire chief said a few minutes ago, they're going to look and see if anything hazardous has spilled onto the sand, and there are county people ready to take that situation into hand. In the meantime, It's been cordoned off with yellow tape. People are being very polite. People who are walking by